The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Reaper Apparel Company. Reaper Apparel offers a casual line of superb fit, finish, and comfort. We design for those who refuse to die slowly and choose to live untamed. For those who aren't afraid to face the dark, for the ones that thrive in it, and for those who can appreciate life through a grim lens. That's Reaper Apparel Company. Go to the link in the description of this episode, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. I have hats, I have t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, water bottles, notebooks, you name it, I've got it. The description and the link for that will be in the description of this episode. Also, right now, if you use the promo code WELCOME, I will give you 5% off of your first purchase. That's the Stupid Should Hurt merch store. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by Tactical Brotherhood, all American-made apparel, which helps support the Second Amendment. You can also find all this in the description of this episode with the link, Tactical Brotherhood. Part of every proceed does go to helping veterans, as it is a very good cause. All American-made products made right here in Minnesota. Go and check them out. Use the promo code PATRIOT15 to get 15% off your purchase. Now, let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. This is, as always, your host, Mike Bono. I have a great episode for us today, but first and foremost, everyone, please go and peep all of the sponsors that you heard at the beginning of the show. That is Reaper Apparel. That is my own personal merch store, the Stupid Should Hurt merch store, and Tactical Brotherhood. All the discount codes and all the descriptions will be in the notes of this episode. Go and click the links, visit them now, and get your stuff before stuff is out of stock. But my guest today, you've heard him on here on all of the roundtables, it seems like, when it comes to sports. He is at Purdue University, and he's a big fan of the show. Drew Barth comes back to the show by himself. Drew, what's going on, buddy?
Bono, thanks for having me. Been on with my brother before, been on a roundtable. It's a little different just seeing you and being on my own, so thanks for having me.
Yeah, I would say a little different than what we've had you on in the past before, but we're always happy to have you on for sure. No Steve to talk a lot of shit for you with Purdue.
Yeah, we can leave Steve out of it again. I'm happy with that.
So you were on the college football playoff roundtable, and I want to get your thoughts on how did you think the whole college football playoff went, and especially the national championship game? What were your thoughts on that?
Oh, the playoff, I mean, the TCU-Michigan game, that was an incredible game to watch. I mean, back and forth, and being an offensive guy, I love points. So seeing that score was incredible and all the yards on offense. And then, I mean, Georgia, what they can do, I mean, they're turning into a powerhouse, and that's incredible what they're doing. I didn't think they blow TCU out like that. I don't think anybody expected that. But what they did to them was just crazy. I mean, 65-7 was that the final, I think? I don't think
it was ridiculous. It was out of hand.
When TCU went down, I'm like, all right, they've been in this territory before. I'm like, they're not out of it yet. Then Georgia scores again. They score again. It's just like, when are they going to stop?
It was incredible. Kind of TCU's MO the entire season. Like, they would be down after the first half and then make this miraculous comeback in the second half of every game they played, it seemed like.
Right. I was waiting for it, and then Georgia just kept putting the pedal to the metal, and it was insane to watch. I mean, kind of a boring national championship game. I'm sure a lot of people turned it off in the fourth quarter because there's no reason to watch it anymore. But what Georgia can do year in and year out, I don't see it stopping either.
No, I mean, I didn't watch it. I didn't get to watch it. But I kept getting the score updates on my phone, and it seems like every time I would put my phone down, it would ding again, and it was another score by Georgia. Like, it was
incredible,
insane. That I was like, all right, this isn't even entertaining to watch anymore. Even if you're a Georgia fan, how do you sit and watch that? Like, that's just
right. I mean, the week before against Ohio State, I mean, that was a lot more fun to watch.
Yeah, but yeah, that TCU Michigan game. I was upset because I got to the fourth quarter And my son was somewhere, and of course, in the fourth quarter, he was like, "Hey, can you come pick me up?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me right now, man? Like, it's the fourth quarter of a playoff game."
It's always them damn kids.
Yeah, coming, man. And by the time I got home, my phone went off. It was like final score. I was like, I missed the whole fourth freaking quarter."
Oh my gosh, you missed a good one.
Yeah.
The third quarter was the best quarter though. I think they scored 42 points that quarter.
Something like that. It was ridiculous.
It was insane.
Oh man. So now that football's over, for the most part, other than the USFL, the XFL, and Major League Football, what spring events, being baseball, March Madness, or NHL or NBA playoffs, are you looking forward to any of those coming up?
I love March Madness. It happens to fall right on my birthday. I'm born St. Patrick's Day, so the first weekend of the tournament every year falls right on it. So what better birthday present can I have than watching basketball all day? I mean, March Madness to me is the best time of the year. That first weekend, games all day, and just every TV you can go find a game to watch, and it's incredible to watch. And I love Major League Baseball too. Big Chicago Cubs fan. I'm still hanging on to 2016 a little bit, so they've been down a little bit, but they'll come back. I mean, we always say that. We said it for 108 years, right? So might as well keep holding out.
I'm a Pirates fan, man. I get it. Like, I understand it. But I have this analogy. I use this all the time, and people always get a kick out of it. But, like, being a Pirates fan is like having a child with special needs. Like, you know they're going to go out. You know they're going to try their best. You know they're going to lose, but you love them anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's
Absolutely.
And where I moved, like, nobody's a Pirates fan. Like, I can't find Pirates gear anywhere down here. And people just look at me and they're like, you're wearing that? I'm like, that's how you know I'm a true fan, man. Like, that's...
Absolutely. You got to stay true to your team.
And people were like, well, I mean, I guess it takes balls to wear that. I was like, oh, I got some brass ones to be rocking the black and gold, man. And in the middle of, like, Browns, Reds, and Indians country, like, down here in central Ohio. Like, it's just...
Yeah. I'd say you get some big ones then.
The worst is hockey season with the Blue Jackets down here.
I bet.
They're anybody who can hear my wife in the background, like, they're not a team yet. Like, I don't consider them a team yet. You know what I mean? Like, they're still so new to me that
right.
it's just...
See, I'm a Blackhawks fan. I don't watch much NHL. I mean, I get updates on ESPN on my phone and stuff. But I mean, I usually watch when the postseason comes around. So when the Blackhawks won every other year, 12, 15 years ago, that was a fun postseason to watch. But now they're trying to tank, but they keep winning now. So I don't know what they're trying to do.
So what did you think of Kane's hat trick last night, then? Did you see that?
I got the updates about it. Okay. I mean, he's coming to the end of his tenure, I think, with the Blackhawks. And talk about how he's going to get traded and everything. And he's one of the best to ever play for the Blackhawks. So you never want to see those type of guys leave. But it's a business at the end of the day.
We'll take him in Pittsburgh. We'll take him and put him, Gino, and Sid on the ice. We'll see what happens.
Could you imagine that? Oh my!
That would be. Oh my God! I would love it. I would call it if that trade happened. I'd be like, all right, the Cubs coming to Pittsburgh. There's no way it's not coming to Pittsburgh at that.
Although the way the Bruins are playing, I mean, what they're doing, I just see their record. It's incredible too.
Oh, the hell with the Bruins, man! Like I know you work for Purdue. I'm trying to wash my mouth, like when it comes to this, but it's just. Oh, I can't stand the Bruins. Oh,
I can't either. But I mean, what they're doing still is impressive.
It is. As a sports fan, it's impressive for what they're doing.
Right.
But Connor McDavid, though, like what? Like he is just on a tear. Like he just scored like his 800th. Got his 800th point over, I think, the last 2 days, or 900th point or something like that already. And
I didn't see that one. Wow.
And he's only been in the league like 8 years.
Yeah, that's impressive. That's quick.
He's the second coming to Sidney Crosby in my point of view. Like, he just came out like a ball of fire, and everyone's like, all right, he's going to settle down. Never settled down once.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just another rare talent that just came through.
And it always blows my mind. Like, these guys are like, oh, he's getting old. He's 34 years old. I'm like, son of a bitch, that's my age. What do you mean he's old? Like, don't be talking this. Like, Crosby's my age, and he's considered old for the league. And it's like, dude, no, he's only 30-something. And, like, no. Like,
How old's Ovechkin? Is Ovechkin 40 yet?
175 years old. Like he's
he's old, but he's still look what he's doing.
But you know what? He broke the record. Yeah, he broke Gretzky's record. I get it, but he's been in the league like 18 years. Like, of course he's going to break the damn record. He won't retire.
He hasn't broke his goal record though yet, has he? Isn't he in second for goals? Is it points that he broke it?
No, he broke the goals, I think.
Did he?
800 something goals. Yeah.
I mean, it's impressive. That's a lot of goals.
I mean, but you know, it was the same thing with Gretzky. He played till he was 700 years old, and like he's.
Oh yeah.
And like, of course you're going to have all the records. You played and you outplayed everybody, not skill-wise, length-wise. Like, I think there needs to be asterisks by those awards.
But you can't fault him for, playing that long either. If he was able to do it and perform at a high level, for example, Tom Brady, what he did.
Keeping on the hockey thing, Jaromir Jagr. He's still playing in Russia right now. Like, he's still playing.
That I didn't know. Boy, that's impressive too.
And I just saw a quote from him the other day that made me want to throw my phone. I mean, he's got to be in his 50s, like no joke. And he's like, well, I can still skate and I can still play at a high level, so I'm going to keep playing. It's like, dude, somebody's going to hit you and you're going to disintegrate on the ice. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Maybe that's what he wants. Wants to die in the ice.
Someone's going to knock the mullet right off his head, and he's just that's going to be the end of him. Like, it's just, well, I mean, he's going to go out like a champion, just dying on the ice. This is what's going to happen next.
So, some of those guys might want to. I mean, some of them are breeded differently, so I could see it.
I mean, I get it. If I could still play, I would probably, still be like, had I not had an unfortunate injury, like I'd probably still be swimming if I could, because I love the sport. But like, wow, that's just, it blows my mind that these guys are this old and can still compete. Like, what's Brady, 45? And
right.
He's still performing like that. I mean, I'm 34, and I threw my back out on a $2,400 mattress that I bought a year ago. Like, it was just like, this was supposed to be like the best mattress, and now I can't get out of it because I threw my back out. Like, that's where it's at for me. Like, everybody that's listening, yeah, I'm that old guy that's just... I hurt myself laying down. That's where it was. That's where I'm at in life.
You're telling me what I have to look forward to in 10 years, throwing my back out on the mattress.
100%. 100%, man. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
You young bucks, just wait. When you hit 30, that check engine light turns on, and it does not turn off for anything. It doesn't. Yeah.
I don't need to hear that yet.
Stay active as long as you can. I think that's the key. Just stay active. I didn't. I've been doing comedy for 10 years and been in bars and just riding around in my car all over the Midwest, and yeah, I'm paying for it.
See, I'm a big golfer, so I stay active there. I try to, at least.
Are you walking or are you in a cart?
I'm in a cart, but this year I'm going to start walking a lot more.
I
would stay more active.
I would say start walking now because I like to golf when I can, but it's get a cart, get that case of beer, and let's go.
Now all my friends that heard me just say I'm probably going to be walking there and be like, bullshit, you ain't walking. You're going to get hop in that cart every time.
Well, especially if you're going with someone with the cart, it's like, yeah, all right, I'm just going to let this go.
Because then you slow them down if you say no.
Right. Now you're just doing them a favor. That's all it is.
Exactly.
All right. So, I mean, you're working at Purdue now. What exactly do you do at Purdue?
Yeah, so I'm my title is Associate Director of Development in the alumni office at Purdue. So reach out to former alumni and friends and try to get some donors, just to donate their money that they've made throughout their life, and try and get some younger donors too, who are just graduating or 10 years out. So, it's a new role for me. I was in coaching, so it's something that's a little foreign to me. So I'm still learning on the fly and everything. And I have a great boss, and Dan, who I think is going to be a friend of the show here in a couple months. Shout out to Dan. So, he's teaching me all the new tricks and everything. So it's still a work in progress, and it's a development for me.
Yeah. So how did you get there at Purdue? I mean, because you were at Bethany for a long time. So how do you get from Bethany, West Virginia, to Purdue?
So it goes back to my Eureka days where my uncle's the head football coach there. And my boss actually played for my uncle. He played football there. So he knew him. And when I was out at Bethany these past 2 years, pursuing my master's in coaching football and golf, I always leave that one. I was the head golf coach too. But yeah, he called me one day, or he called my uncle and said, "Do you know of anybody?" And my uncle texted me, called me, and said, "Are you interested in just like talking to him about it?" Talked to him later that day, and then about a month or two later, I applied for it, did the interview and everything, and here I am in West Lafayette, Indiana. So yeah, went from Eureka, Illinois to Bethany College, and then now I'm in West Lafayette, Indiana, where there's 50,000 students and not 500. So it's a wide range. Let me tell you, it's completely different.
I was going to say, what was the culture shock from little old, like 500 to 900 student Bethany to now a major D1 university in Purdue, where like that's one class?
Oh, it's God. There's 500 students standing right there waiting to walk across a crosswalk. I'm just like, wow, that's the whole school I was just at.
There's all of Bethany College right there.
It's crazy. I mean, the campus is incredible. I'm very fortunate to be working here. So, yeah.
So you were a coach at Bethany. So what made you want to get out of coaching?
My ultimate goal is to be an athletic director. So I knew the coaching, I mean, you got to try it to see if you like it. And I did enjoy it. I mean, athletics has been my whole life. So I know eventually I want to be on the administrative side. So this is a great step towards that, I feel like. And, I mean, if Purdue comes calling, you're not going to say no. Right. So it was a pretty easy decision for me.
Do you still have ambitions to coach again if the opportunity presents itself?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm really set on being on the administrative side. And I don't know, just for some reason, that's just what I've gone towards. And not that I dislike coaching, but I just ultimately want to be an athletic director one day.
Okay. So now I got to ask, because we both know Fitty, obviously. And but he's always said, like, now that he's out of coaching, he's happier that he's out of coaching. Not that he didn't enjoy his time coaching, but the stress levels that he has are way less. Like, do you feel that? Like, is it any different now being out of coaching than when you were coaching?
I have a little more free time, but I mean, I was only coaching in a COVID year, so I only played in the spring, so it was a little less. And then recruiting took up a lot, though. You're always recruiting and everything. Gone a lot, nights during the season. I mean, you're preparing for practice the next day or the game that Saturday. So there is a lot more free time. Fitty coached a lot longer than me. You got to remember that. Fitty's ancient. Fitty will like that one. But, you know, I mean, there is a lot less stress. I mean, there's more stress with my new job because there's other metrics I got to hit there. But having a little more free time is nice. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said I would make a better coach than I did a player. You know, because I was that second, third string special teamer when I played way too long ago to say how many years it's been since I last played ball. But, you know, you had a pretty successful career. I mean, obviously you had your brother with you, though, while you were playing. Like, you and your brother came up together, you being on the line, him being the quarterback. You were his center, correct?
No, he was my center.
Okay, I had that backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you're going to have to edit that out. You're going to have to edit that out because he's going to get a kick out of that.
Well, see, it's a comedy show, man. Now, we're going to have to get him back on. He's definitely going to have to come back on after he hears this episode.
You know, because, I mean, I hate to admit, I mean, he's probably skinnier than me now. He lost a lot of weight, and I, you know, hit retirement a little bit from playing, so I enjoyed it a little bit and didn't work out as much. So, but yeah, that's I can see how you got confused with it. Yeah, but yeah, he was my center and left tackle, center in high school and the left tackle in college. So,
okay. So, I mean, I know we talked about this with both of you on the show a while ago, but what was it like actually growing up and playing with your brother? Since we just had the Kelsey Bowl, you know, with Travis and Jason Kelsey, but given on opposite teams. But what was it like with your journey playing with your brother?
Yeah, I mean, we were very fortunate to play together and be on a lot of successful teams. Not, I think my freshman year was the only losing season we had together. So I didn't play much varsity in football that year, but after that, we won conference the next 2 years, went to the semifinals my junior year, his senior year. So we went 12-1 that year, and then we get to college, and our worst record together was 8-3. So, I mean, yeah, we were very fortunate. We won 2 conference championships in college too. So, I mean, it was nice to get to share those moments with him. How often do you get to say you got to share that moment with your brother on the same team? Obviously, the Kelsey Bowl, they're against each other, which is unique too. But how often you get to say you get to share those moments with your brother?
Yeah, I was blessed with 2 older sisters. I will never get that. I never got that experience. Although I don't know if you consider, most people don't consider this a sport. I don't, but my sister actually won a state championship for cheerleading, and she holds that over my head, that she was the state champion, and I never even sniffed the playoffs in football until my senior year, and even then we got the crap kicked out of us in the first round. But yeah, so I had that kind of, I guess, competition with her, but it's like I'll never. I'm at Brook High School. I mean, our best record up to date was 5-5 at the varsity level. I mean, even my senior year, we went 6-4 and just barely snuck into the playoffs, and then just got knocked out in the first round to Martinsburg. But you know, I made a little bit of a run when it came to swimming, because I did make it to regionals, and I missed districts by like 0.01 seconds, which...
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's swimming for you. Like, that still haunts me to this day, that as a junior in high school, like, my time was just it was strictly on time. I won the race, and I looked up, and I was like, I don't know if that's going to hold up. And it didn't.
Oh, that sucks. You got to relive that bad memory. I feel bad for you right now.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, I was...
Yeah, right.
I was 17 years old, so it was a little while ago. So,
right.
I'm pretty much over it. Yeah, it's
just a little bit. Yeah.
It stings every now and again. Get those PTSD memories. Oh God, no. And then.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you have anything like that, like a bad throw or anything that your brother got on you when you guys were playing together, or was it like a bad snap? Like,
oh gosh, I mean, I remember our semifinal game. So we scored the first play, the second half, to go up 20-6, and we're like, all right, here we go. The next thing you know, the other team scored 40 straight, and I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah, so we ended up losing that game 46-33. But I didn't have my best game that day. Threw 2 picks. But, I mean, I just remember, I can see it right now, so thanks for making me relive this one.
You're welcome.
I remember walking to the locker room after the game, his helmet's still on. Try talking to him. He wants no part of me whatsoever. He's just staring straight ahead, and I just gave him a little tap on the butt and kept walking because I knew he didn't want to talk.
I get it from your brother's point of view, because this one still haunts me too. We'll just relive bad memories here for this little segment. Here's what we'll do. But swimming at Bethany, and I'm in the middle of my 100 backstroke, and I didn't realize at the time how fast I was going, but I could see like my teammates like all around the pool losing their mind. Like I was cooking, and in the middle of the race, I blew my shoulder back out, and I finished the race, but I get up, I get out of the pool, and like clearly, like I don't want to talk to anybody like your brother didn't at this point in time. Like I took my cap off, I threw it against the wall so hard it stuck to the wall, and I just sat down. And then Coach McGowan, I love him to death, but he comes over and he was like, well, what happened in that race? I was like, Coach, I really don't want to talk about it right now. Like, can we wait till after this? He goes, no, I think you need to know, what your splits were. I was like, I really don't want to know that. He goes, because had you kept your pace up for the entirety of that race, you would have broke the school's backstroke record by a full second.
Oh, God.
I was like, you tell me this now. I have 3 more events to race, and you're telling me this now.
Why would he do that? Oh, man. That's tough. That is a bad memory.
And the worst part of it is my event was the last event before the diving portion. So now I had like an hour and a half to sit and just stew about that race before my next event.
That's brutal. That is brutal.
It's like you couldn't have waited till after the meet to give me those stats or the next day at practice. Like, my shoulder's out of place. Right. It's throbbing. I'm pissed. Like, just don't talk to me.
I think me and Ryan might have mentioned this last time. Maybe now. It's been a while ago now. But I remember after the St. Vincent game, it was a COVID game, and we had just lost pretty bad. And we're sitting in the office, and I usually upload the film, and I match it together. Well, it got messed up because I moved one down on accident. And I said something to him, and he just came unglued. I knew I shouldn't have said anything, but I was just like, he stormed out of the office. He's like, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm like, I knew I shouldn't have said anything. One of those moments, but yeah, I mean, we share a lot of those good and bad memories together, so.
Right. I mean, I had a lot more good than bad, and I'm sure you guys did too, obviously playing together, but that is a rare experience to actually get to play with your brother, and kudos to you guys for being able to do that together. That's awesome.
Absolutely, especially when you had my blind side in college. I mean, I had to trust him.
Absolutely. How many lookout blocks did he give you? Was like there a time when he was mad at you and just gave you that, hey, look out?
Honestly, I think he gave up one sack from his side. He said it was my fault. He blames it on me.
Of course.
But, yeah, he really didn't give up that many. He was a pretty good left tackle, so yeah, I'm talking him up a little bit, and I shouldn't be. He's always mean to me. So.
I was like, where's the brotherly fire? Like, I'm missing that right now. When you guys were on, it was all back and forth.
I know. I mean, I'm being honest, though, right now. He was a pretty good left tackle in college, so.
I appreciate the honesty. I'm sure he does too, for sure.
Shout out. You're welcome, Ryan.
But I give my son crap all the time because he's left guard, left tackle, where he's playing now, and I tell him all the time because his cousin is the running back for the team, and he's a stud. And I'm like, dude, you got to block for Rusty. And he's like, well. He's pissing me off. Like, he's just saying everything's my fault. I was like, all right, then fine. Don't block for him one time. See what happens. Right. And,
in high school, when Ryan was my center, we didn't go under center much, but when we did, it was a quarterback sneak. I got the chance to give him a love tap, though, if he was ever being, nasty to me. So I was sure to give him a love tap every once in a while.
Absolutely, for sure. Ryan's older, correct?
Yep. We're 13 months apart.
13 months apart, yeah.
Oh, Irish twins.
Yeah. The wife was asking, and I couldn't remember from when the show that when you both were on. She had the sibling that they played softball together.
The shortstop, which is always the stud. I had to deal with her shit.
If anybody can hear that, this is an ongoing argument that my wife played first base, and her
first baseman and
who is she's 5'2" now, so she wasn't much bigger than that in high school. And her sister was the shortstop who got all the glory, and her sister doesn't let her live that down.
I had to deal with
and
shit
her
throws.
And yeah, this is the argument. My wife had to deal with her shit throws, and she had to deal with her not catching the ball. It's just a big back and forth. Do you and your brother? I mean, obviously with the love taps, but do you guys still have that sibling rivalry to this day?
Oh, and everything we play. I mean, it doesn't matter what we're doing. We're still bickering about it, and it doesn't matter what sport it is. We're both like to golf now, so pretty competitive when it comes to that as well. And we actually playing a men's league together, though. We've gotten along better than I thought we would for basketball and that. But, we obviously still have our inner rivalries. I remember back in our days when we were playing on the small hoop, first one to 10 wins or whatever, and those were always competitive. Usually someone came out with a bloody nose or something.
Well, obviously.
Did they ever have to be separated on the field?
Did you ever have to be separated on? These are questions coming from the wife now. And have you guys ever had to be separated on the field?
To separate us on
I don't think we ever did it. When we were on the field, we knew better than that. So I don't think we ever had to be. Thinking back, which is actually kind of strange. You'd think at least once, but I don't think we ever really had to.
See, multiple times, my wife and her and sister-in-law had to be, the coach had to call a timeout to separate them on the field.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my. Yeah, I mean, Ryan was bigger than me, so I knew not to pick that battle because I knew I wouldn't win. But I could hold my own a little bit, but I knew it wasn't a fight. At the end of the day, I wasn't going to win. So I just kept my mouth shut for the most part.
Yeah, see, my wife is the scrapper of the family. Little 5'2", full-blooded Irish woman, born in March. She's got that fire to her. We'll call it because she's sitting right behind me.
I gotta be careful what you say. March birthday though, it's a good month.
We're all March birthday. I'm in March too. I'm at the end of March. My wife's at the beginning of March. You're on St. Patrick's Day, and oddly enough, my sister's birthday is on St. Patrick's Day too, as well.
Oh, and happy birthday to your sister!
And she doesn't listen to the show. She's not going to hear this shit. She does. She doesn't give a shit.
Relatives,
yeah,
siblings,
family. Gotta love them.
Oh yeah.
But all right, Drew, we are running down near the end of the episode, and I don't think we had this segment when you and your brother were on last time in the Fast Fitty 5.
Oh boy.
And it is, for the new listeners out there and for you, it is 5 random questions given to us by the wonderful manager of the podcast, Johnny Fitty Falcone. And as you know him, these are the most random. These have nothing to do with what we've been talking about the entire time we've been on here. So.
I'd expect nothing less from Fitty.
Nothing. They're kind of rapid fire, but you can elaborate if you need to. So if you're ready, Drew,
Here we go.
All right, question number 1. Are the Fast and the Furious movies overrated or underrated?
I'd say underrated. I enjoy those movies, so I'm going to go with underrated.
Okay, I'll take that. Question number 2. Who is your hero in sports and why?
Oh, Kobe Bryant. I love watching Kobe Bryant grow up, his demeanor and everything, the way he approached the game. I wish I could have seen Michael Jordan play. Fortunately, I didn't get to, but watching Kobe Bryant play growing up was everything he approached, and the way he did it was incredible. It
was amazing to watch him growing up, Jordan. I got to tell you, you were born in the wrong era. Jordan was just it was a treat to watch him play. I'll give you that.
Oh, I bet. Wish I could have. But Kobe was a close second to that.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that answer at all. Question number 3. Oh, this is a fitty question. God damn. Would you rather be an owl or a flamingo?
An owl, I guess. I don't know why, but I'll go with an owl. That is a fitty question.
That's such a fitty question. For the new listeners out there, he sent these to me like an hour before we were set to record this show, so I'm reading these for the first time.
I'm about to send him a text here in a little bit.
Absolutely. Question number 4. What's more impressive, being able to breakdance or being able to sing opera?
I can't do either. That is sing opera, right? Because that's impressive how they do that. I'm going to go with opera.
I don't know. He started off good, and it's just getting worse as we go down. Question number 5 and last question, and this is a good one. Who's a better action hero, Batman or Captain America?
Well, I love the USA, so Captain America, right? Okay. Let's go with that.
All right. I'm a huge Batman fan, so we'll let that slide.
I never got into the Batman movies, so I'm not really much of a Marvel guy. I don't know. I'll go with Captain America. I don't really have an explanation for you.
You don't need one. I'm just saying. I don't go either way. I'm more just a straight comic book nerd. But I've always said, you know what? Like Batman's superpower is he's super rich. And when you're not Batman, you get to be billionaire Bruce Wayne. Who wouldn't want to be billionaire Bruce Wayne?
That's a very good point. That's a good way to put it.
Well, Drew, we barely survived Fast 55 for sure.
Thanks for those questions, Falcon.
Those were pretty mild for Fitty.
I've heard some of his. He's got some good ones in there.
I was saying, oh my God, like, there's always an animal in every. There's always an animal question in every segment that we do. I don't know what. Like the past, all of season 2 of the show, like had, like at least one animal question in the Fast 55.
Just makes you wonder what runs through that man's mind during the day. I don't know if I want to know.
I know it, honestly, I don't know if I would either, but I would actually love to just live in his head for a day.
I would too.
Just like that. Well, what's that? Oh, it's an older movie. What women want when he can hear what women are thinking. I just want to hear what Fitty thinks all day. Like, that's just what I want to hear.
Just one day. Yeah, just one day.
One day's enough. That's way too much, but that's...
Love you, Fitty.
Yeah, he knows we love him on this show for sure. But all right, Drew, like I give every guest this opportunity at the end of every show. If there's anything you want to get out there for Purdue, or even if it's just a good message or anything like that, I'll give you about a minute, and the floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, I just want to thank you and thank Fitty for letting me back on the show again. It's fun to come on here and talk just about anything with you. I mean, we were all over the board again today, and those round tables are fun, and getting to have that moment with my brother about a couple of years ago, and now coming on by myself. It's fun to get on these podcasts and just, bullshit randomly about random stuff. So it's fun, and I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, not a problem at all. And we like to have fun here at the Ride Home Rants podcast for sure. Always a pleasure to have you on, man. We love it when you come on, especially on the round tables. For everyone out there, he will be back again. I believe you're on the MLB roundtable for sure, right?
Final four show.
You're on the Final Four show. We got a lot of roundtables coming up. I can't keep all the guests straight. That's why I have Fitty. That's why I have Fitty on the show. I'm just a comedian that I'm just the talent, I guess. I don't. Fitty makes this show run for sure. But that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Ride Home Rants podcast. Again, I want to thank my guest, former coach Drew Barth of Purdue University, for coming on. Always a pleasure to have you on. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be a friend, tell a friend. If you didn't, tell them anyways. They might like it just because you didn't. That's going to do it for me, and I will see y'all next week. The Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by W Energy. Energy drinks made for gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. For gamers, streamers, and podcasters alike. Go to the link in the description where you can find the best energy drinks out there. Less caffeine than a cup of coffee. Also, no jitters and no crash afterwards. Use the promo code Mike Bono and get yourself 10% off. Also, the Ride Home Rants podcast is brought to you by my favorite sponsor of the show, and that is Shankit Golf. Golf apparel made for the everyday golfer. We might not go out and shoot a 6 under par. We're probably going to shoot a 6 over par, but this is going to give us the gear that's going to help us rock it on and off of the course. Go to the link in the bio, use the promo code Mike Bono, and get yourself 10% off there as well.